watch him pick Akali?
Oh man, I really hope not.
He's still flanking.
This comp is just so squishy, but if you picked the Cassante, which I think was a trap here, then they just play Gnar again. We have similar problems to what we had in Game 1. So I like that they picked the Jace instead, because Jace basically wins almost everything. And the Gragas, I think, is the best call here for getting a front line and having some extra engage. Malphite, okay, so it's going to be Jace mid.
So your AP damage currently is Lux. Malphite has magic damage, but if you don't build him AP, it's not very much.
And if you build him AP, you lose the game, so...
Yeah, so just build armor. Looking like potentially Sylas for the top lane here against Malphite.
Would be really interesting to see because, I mean, it's a lot of magic damage in this comp. They're going to lock it in. But it means that you have the ability to steal a Malphite ult into a team that has Malphite only as the tank. And there's no peel for the Caitlyn if a Sylas gets on top of you with Malphite ult.
And you know what, Wolf? I need to apologize to everyone. I've been doing the doo-doo on the wrong timing this entire time. You actually had it perfect this time. And I was doing it one beat too early.
Oh, well,
every single day of Challengers, I was coming here and doing it one beat early.
The thing is, we didn't have it for so long that it became difficult to remember exactly where it was supposed to be. And I think I only got it right today because it did go through yesterday, and I was able to hear it. The Korean commentators don't actually react to it at all, so we should tell them about the meme. As we're just gonna walk up.
Wait, we're just running into the bush. You
like
don't have
what?
Flash. What is happening? As first blood is given to Hambach at level 1.
Hex Flash the wall to surprise potentially a Vi that's there. If she's not, they get the ward up, confirm she's not there as Hambach comes down to make sure he can actually put some pressure on. And now they've relieved that pressure a little bit here on the bottom side of the map. And what did I say about feisty Pulbe?
Bit of an angle here underneath the turret. Thanatos has to flash away. And this is something you can do, picking that AP Sylas into the Malphite. You thought you were safe, but Castle has found yet another answer.
He does have biscuits, so he should be able to get some mana back here and continue to be annoying. Like, he should actually be able to stay in this lane.
What do you think those biscuits taste like? To me, I imagine like cinnamon rolls, you know? Uh-oh. Never mind. We're not talking about cinnamon rolls. We're talking about Castle.
We're talking about top lane roll
under the turret.
Yeah, like a cinnamon swirl type thing. Actually,
yeah.
I think that's probably it.
Maybe. Unconfirmed. But I wouldn't be surprised if that would have.
Yeah.
KT,
we're going to have to ask Freak.
Yeah, we're going to have to ask Freak. He's the only person that knows, actually. A big prio points here for the side of KT. They already have the first Drake, and this first Herald is looking very good with that top prio to their side. But Hambach first is going to look for an angle on the bottom side of the map as Lucid will find him. Just kicks him over the wall and says goodbye as level 6 is Lucid. Going to follow up here on the Lux. Good flash over from Loopy. Down goes he as Rahel in a little bit of a rough spot, but he will be able to kite it out here as Wei and Hype now just have to run away.
Yeah, Wei doesn't have ult, unfortunately. And Hype doesn't really have a great target here. Could try to interrupt the back. And he probably will. Like this one, for example, on a ward. No, let's not do that. Let's avoid that. As bottom is a problem. It's certainly an issue. The Caitlyn is very ahead now. I mean, we're talking about getting close to 40 CS now.
And KT, they're trying to force these fights. They do not have prio for mid, so if Pulbe comes over, forces the flash. Wei is dead. He does do a nice amount of damage, but Rahel just flashes and he's totally fine. As now we do have Castle, who is a massive raid boss in this game. He gets there first, so once again, able to be a very big guy on this rift right now as Thanatos does come down and trades it back for the Jinx as Hype can't find his flash button for that one.
If you zoned him a little bit differently, maybe you actually win the fight.
Ooh. He's fine. Hook, miss. Q, miss. Well, Feisty's Q as he runs forward at Pulbe, trying to force him into the fight, throws out his ultimate as well. As still the pressure's down on the bot side, you see plates don't have very long to go. Castle's able to get one in top as Flash into the bottom lane, who does not have Flash. Rahel in a lot of trouble, and that will be the shutdown here given over to Hambach.
And they have enough damage there with the Lee Sin nearby. Now maybe they'll set a trap.
This is definitely a trap. They have full vision of Hambach. He has no idea as they do combo him down, and he is just dead. No escape for him. Very nicely set up here by DK.
And he's walking down. You know what? They might just barely be able to defend this. It's a cannon wave, but because he knows that Vi might be in there, he's like, I'm just going to back away.
Well, this is KT. They're going to play around their strong lane right now. And they say, well, Bob's just gone. Let's just take down the Malphite as he dies in mid-charge. And oh, maybe he was just hooked. And yeah, KT, you know, after that.
Wait, what was the pin? I didn't see it.
He was just responding to someone. What is the cleanse for? It's for Kate Lux. So speaking of which, how much is dead? He is really struggling to survive against Kate Lux. He's like, wait, this duo is just so strong. They are trying to, of course, retake control, and nobody can really just ignore Hextech Drake's going over, I should say.
There's so many.
Although DK are going to prove me wrong. Okay.
All right, there's so many good ults for Castle to steal, and I think they're just like, well, we need to back away from this. He's going to teleport into mid now. They're going to look for a fight, actually. They're going to try to punish this Rift Herald drop from Loopy there with the E and the ward. Makes it so difficult for them to actually get that flank off. So no punish, and D+, trading up in gold. This may be something they regret, though, later on if KT will get the next Drake and have to fight for Soul Point.
That's really the issue, as we do have a big fight on the top side. There are 5 members of DK here, though, as Wei does not know that. They're trying to fight 2v5 right now. Kick comes in. That is a rocket to hit a crown as Castle will go down. And that's going to be the end of this turret. DK finds yet another position and fight on this map.
Yeah.
Hype might just die. It's like he will not. He's going to flash away. There's Hambach. He's still struggling with those traps. He's just going to try to flash out of this one, but he will not be able to. So that's another kill.
This is a bit over-aggressive.
Chronicler telling us, you know, this is how it started last time, but a nice little cage comes in. It's a ton of damage, and Vi is just 100-0. But the turn comes in, massive 2-man knockup, and the TP in from Pulbay should be enough, as Feisty is going to go golden, but only for a little while, as in goes Castle. But again, I mean, it's up against a super fed Caitlyn, and there's a bunch of traps on the ground. You can't go in alone, as some of the decisions right now for KT fighting from behind are very questionable, and DK are just lapping up the kills and are very happy about it, as Castle will go in, but even a stopwatch available now for the support Lux, who's 3-1-7. Could have just taken both. Either way, we do have this Drake going
they're
down
going to try to
very
contest,
slowly.
actually. Yeah.
I think KT realized this a little bit too slowly, as now it's a bunch of members coming on over. Rahel not quite here, so Wei just going to potentially die. Yep, just gets zapped in the back as Vi ultimate onto the Jinx, and Hype is just not really able to do damage in this one. He's just going to flash over as KT are totally jumping ship. They do not want any part of this fight anymore.
Well, now with Baron going over, I mean, you can grab this Drake. Could probably just put Lucid on it solo, to be honest. There should be able to get a massive amount of control over the map, if not just straight up siege the base and end the game outright. This Drake, ironically, is going to buy some additional time here from KT, especially if D+ all just reset, which they will.
Is the entire team pushing in with this one? And I think as DK, you can hope for 2 inhibitors here. Thanatos doing a great job of holding down the fort in mid. Although now he's okay. He's not going to take that inhibitor. As Fulbay goes over to mid, but
I mean, they should eventually get it, right? Like, right?
A little hook there as he hooks him into the wall, and a 3-man knockup comes out from the Malphite as they just line up for it. Right in front of him, Castle is going to ult a Zhonya's as he is alone in the backside, and that will be the end of this game. DK, they find the angles. A very nice team fight once again. And that should do it.
All right, going to game 4. KT Rolster falling apart here in this third game. You mentioned the nerves that might come in when you're like this close to winning. They get the flash early at level 1, they get the kill, but cannot convert on that at all. And Castle just kind of having a messy one on this Sylas. He played the laning phase incredibly well, but his decision making with his hijacks was... it left a lot to be desired, let's say, and D+ bouncing back in a big way.
They just held strong, waited for their Caitlyn and Lux to take down the turret, and from there it was basically over.
I think the POG is probably either going to go to Thanatos or Loopy this game. They both had such a high impact, as even though Loopy like lost his flash at level 1 and then walked in and died, not that significant at the end of the day in this game, and played really well around Vision, stopping that flank play when Castle teleported mid. Vision control, his follow-up ults to the Malphite ultimates from Thanatos were really good. And yeah, I mean, I think Rahel had a good game as well and did a ton of damage, but it wasn't really about the Vi that much. It wasn't really about mid. I think it was about the Caitlyn getting ahead in lane, and when the follow-up team fights, is KT just tried to do way too much from behind. You were a Lucid voter.
Yeah.
I think that's fine. But like some of the decisions from KT in the early game, you're like, okay, this didn't work, and it was probably wrong, but it was almost there. But then some of the decisions in the mid to late game was like, okay, what are you thinking? Like, what is going on? Like, team panicking a little bit and falling apart. We can't see that happen a second time, or the momentum shifts against you, and then game 5, there's no way you can win it, right? As KT. Reverse sweeps in game 5s too. Like, if you win 2 games in a row in a best of 5. The reverse sweep almost always happens. It almost always happens. Preventing that reverse sweep is way harder. So KT gonna need to get some good talks from Lilac here in this break, and their heads back on straight going into game 4.